Yo guys, how's it going? So in this video, I'm going to be teaching you where to set cue points for your tracks. So later in the mix, you can jump freely from cue point to cue point without having to manually adjust your track. And so you can have the entire track layout. You can skip to whatever point you want just by the help of your hot cues. So without further ado, let's get right into this tutorial. So I have my Electro House track just loaded up here. Let's zoom into this point and I'll show you guys where to set the cue points. So your very first cue that you should be setting is of course at the very beginning of the track, and that can be just used by the cue button that's right above the play button. So your first one should be set there just because that's where you're probably going to be most likely going to be beat matching from if you're going to be beat matching the track in from the intro. But right away when you load in your track, it's good to set the cue point there. But moving on to hot cue points. So the first one that you want to have is right where the intro right where the break starts, right after the intro. So just right here. So at this beat right here, that's where you want to set hot cue A. Now a bit of word about setting hot cues. You can do this in your record box or in whatever DJ software you're using preset. So right when you're loading your new tracks in, you can go through and set the cue points from your actual laptop. But just for the simplicity of the video, I'm going to be showing you just where you should be setting your cue points on the track, and then just generally what the layout will look like after you set your cue points. So you can do this before you actually put your tracks into your mixer, so doing it through your software, or when you loaded them through your software, you can set them by, playing the track here and setting them on the actual mixer before you're set. So both ways work. It's up to you if you want to do it in the software or just in the mixer. But for simplicity, again, I'm just going to be showing you on the mixer. So the very first cue point that you want to be setting is, again, right where the break starts. So that's going to be cue point A. So right when you press the cue point, it just goes straight to the break, no matter how many times. Yeah, that one's really good because say this is the first track that you're starting off with, and instead of just going through the entire intro, you just want to start straight off from the break, or filter it in. Yeah, so you guys get the idea. So if you want to start from there, or let's say you're doing a transition without beat matching and you're just waiting till the end of the drop for the first track, and then straight away you just press the hot cue for the break of the second track, that works as well. But moving on, so the next cue point that we want to set is at the buildup of the first drop. So I know that the cue point is actually right here, so B, I'll set B over here. So this one's actually pretty easy to spot. All you have to do is listen to the track and see where these different parts are, but of course the build-up is characterized by the snares. Okay, so we have the build-up set to the B cue point, and so in what situation would I be using the build-up hot cue? In what situation would I have to just press the hot cue and use it for mixing? So this would be especially useful for drop mixing. So say I have one track that's currently playing right now and is going into the break, and I don't have enough time to select my track and get it to whatever point. I can load up my second track and I'll know that the B hot cue down here is straight for the build-up. So all I have to do is wait for the timing on where the build-up of the first track lines up with my timing of the second build-up. Basically, I would let the first track play out right when the build-up starts. I hit my hot cue B for my second track, and now both build-ups are aligned, and from there I can just beat match it in, make sure they're on time, and then I can start my drop mix transition. So anyways, that's hot cue B. Now you guys might obviously know the next one and might guess it. It's actually the drop. So the drop, probably the easiest thing to spot, but for this track it's just right here. So I just line it up to wherever the beat is, hit the hot cue button, and now hot cue C is set to the drop of this track. So if you're gonna be doing it manually just on your mixers and you're gonna be setting the cue points through the hot cue buttons and stuff like that, if you really want to get accurate and get right on the beat, what you do is you select quantize mode, and then from there you cue it up. And so say you're just a bit off for where the beat is, and you have quantize mode on, and then you select your cue, it'll actually snap it to the actual beat. So it's just kind of an easy, kind of sloppy way. If you kind of, this close enough, you hit the quantize mode, you set the cue point, and it snaps it automatically for you. So it's just a kind of like a easy little hack to use. So you can just quickly go and set each cue point. Okay, so that's the drop. Now, what situation would you be using this cue point? So say that I have one track playing and I'm trying to select a new track, but I don't really know what will go well. Say that I'm just mixing, you know, having an impromptu mix where I'm just playing one track after the other. I don't really have anything planned out for a set. I can go select a new track, skip right to hot cue C, play the dropout in my headphones so I can hear, will this vibe with the current track that I'm playing? So if it, you know, I have this track loaded up, it's straight from the beginning. I'm not gonna go and I'm not gonna start spinning or trying to search in. What I can do is I can have the track loaded up and then go straight to hot cue C, hear what the drop sounds like, and from there decide if I want to use this track or not. So that's basically the use of hot cue C. So far we have the break, the build up, and the drop, and now of course the last one is the next build up, so the second build up of the track. So right here we have so for hot cue D, so for the last one, we have a couple options on where to actually put the hot cue. So if I wanted to, I can put it right after the drop, but for some tracks, it's just kind of a buffer between the drop that was just played and the actual break. So it has some sort of vocals to you know, progress the track, or it has some sort of sounds, or it creates a more atmosphere, or it has some sort of pads or something like that being played. So it's not actually the core part of the second break. So if I wanted, I can set the hot cue there, but I can also set it to the main part of the actual break of the second part. So for that, it would be here. So as you guys can hear, it kind of goes into more, it has a piano bass in it, it has more of a bass line. So if I wanted to start mixing in from there, or if I wanted to cue up that point right away, I'd probably set it there. So it just depends on your preference where you want to be mixing from. So if in case I wanted to do a mashup with this part, anyways, I'll have it set to and yeah, from there you don't really need to select the second buildup. You can if you want to, but that's why it's good to have the buildup already set for QB for the second track. So say I'm in my second drop of my first track, so my first drop has already played, and now my second drop is playing. At this point, my second track will already be loaded in, and then from there, I'll have the cue point B set up for the build-up. So if I wanted to drop mix from this point, it'd be really, really easy. And that would only lead me into the first drop of the second track, if that makes sense. So I can just, you know, keep drop mixing at every second drop if I wanted to. That's probably not a good idea, but, you know, it's quick recap. So we have the first cue point set at the very, very beginning of the track, which is just the beat intro, and it's just the normal cue button that's set up above the play button. So, and then after that I have my break, and then after that I have my build up, And then after that I have my drop. And then I have my second brake. Basically, that's the whole gist of it. You want to have your hot cue set up for your track so you can basically skip to whatever point you need to for drop mixing, for checking out the drop, seeing if it's compatible with the current track, and then putting it at the brake. So if you wanted to start your set straight from the brake, you can filter it in from there. Or if you wanted to do a live mashup with the vocals, then you can have a cue point set up for the vocals there. It just really depends on what you want, but this is basically the structure and the layout of what each cue point directs to what part of the track you want to be setting a hot cue to. So in total, you're basically going to have 5 cue points, which includes the cue button above the play button. So you'll have 5 points to jump in and around from the track, and it just makes it really easy so you don't have to spin or search the track, or in the case of, you know, CDJs, tap the actual waveform to go and skip to each part. But anyways, so hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, share, and comment what other tutorials you guys want to see. So see you guys in the next video.